These people cannot stop talking about dicks. They can't stop talking about dicks.
I'm Tommy Vietor.
And I'm Brian Teller Cohen.
And today we're drafting the biggest campaign gaffes. Should be fun.
Should be fun. And I believe that we have a catalyst for all of this.
Yeah. This might be more than a gaffe. This might be a debacle. Let's see.
All right. We're just reallocating more server capability to be able to handle the load here. It's really going crazy. So, I'm obviously very excited to have Governor DeSantis make this
That was obviously Ron DeSantis announcing his campaign on Twitter with Elon Musk. They had some technical difficulties. That's one category of gaffe. Another is you say the wrong thing or there's a bad image or bad optics. Some of these campaign gaffes are truly campaign ending.
Yeah.
Some are just really fun. So we're going to talk about all of them. We're going to rank them. We're going to pick them.
And it's going to be up to you guys to determine
that
who
I
wins
won.
Here. All right, let's get it going.
All right. Call in the air?
Yep. Let's go heads.
Heads it is.
All right. For my first draft choice in the biggest campaign gaffes, I'm going to go with please clap.
Ooh.
Let's see the clip.
I think the next president needs to be a lot quieter, but send a signal that we're prepared to act in the national security interests of this country, to get back in the business of creating a more peaceful world. Please clap.
Rarely do we have a moment that is so inadvertently iconic that it just becomes part of like the regular lexicon. And to your point, it is both funny, it's something that we can laugh at, but it's also pretty devastating. I think that when you had that moment happen in 2016, that was effectively the end of Jeb's campaign. It just showed, like in one single moment with two words, how dead his campaign really was.
Yeah, I was talking to Tim Miller, friend of the pod, and he said what happened was, Jeb's there, he's talking about like getting the militaries back and not being divisive and blah, blah, blah. A couple people in the front started to clap, and then they stopped. And instead of saying, it's okay, you can clap, he said, please clap, because he was making a joke. It played like a joke in a room, but then one reporter writes it up as this awkward moment, and it explodes into the Twitterverse.
Wow,
and
that's
all
wild.
of us remember it as this like devastating takedown. Of
Yeah,
Jeb
I mean,
Bush.
look, I chose it as number one, and it is number one for anybody watching. It is a devastating takedown, lest there be any doubt, but that's some crazy backstory.
I love it. It's so good. See, this is why this is hard. My number one is the Dukakis tank ad.
Michael Dukakis has opposed virtually every defense system we developed. He opposed new aircraft carriers. He opposed anti-satellite weapons. He opposed 4 missile systems, including the Pershing II missile deployment. Dukakis opposed the stealth bomber and the ground emergency warning system against nuclear attack. He even criticized our rescue mission to Grenada and our strike on Libya. And now he wants to be our commander-in-chief. America can't afford that risk.
So that's Michael Dukakis, the Democratic nominee for president in the 1988 election. So the Dukakis campaign decided, let's have him ride around on this M1A1 Abrams tank and then give a speech about defense. But what happened was the tank goes 40 miles an hour. So the manufacturers were like, you got to wear this helmet. And everyone on staff sort of seemed to know that Dukakis was going to look like a total goober with this helmet on.
Yeah.
And the defense contractors wouldn't do the event if he wasn't wearing the helmet because, again, they're going 40 miles an hour in a tank. The Dukakis tank moment became the most well-known cautionary tale for campaign staffers. There was a moment during the Obama administration when someone on the Navy football team handed him a helmet and they were like, try it on. And he goes, you don't put stuff on your head if you're president. That's politics 101. It's like the number one rule. And that tank ad that just hammered Dukakis on his national security record debuted during the World Series. So this was like a major event. It sort of catalyzed this feeling that he was not prepared to be the president.
Wild. It's crazy also to see what insignificant things back then could have such a monumental impact. How far the Overton window has shifted from the days of just wearing a helmet and that'll do you in. For my next draft choice, I'm going to go with Rick Perry's oops moment.
Ooh, this is a really good one.
I know we have that clip.
It's 3 agencies of government when I get there that are gone. Commerce, education, and the, what's the third one there? Let's see. The third agency of government,
Yeah.
I would do away with the education, the commerce, and let's see. I can't. The third one I can't. Sorry. Oops.
and he would go on to become the energy secretary.
Secretary of Energy. That's the best part of the whole story.
In my opinion, this is the perfect precursor to the modern Republican Party because on one hand, they want to eliminate every agency in government, but on the other hand, they are too incompetent and too stupid to actually be able to execute. And so, again, the perfect microcosm for today's Republican Party.
So that happened in 2011. It dogged him all the way through the 2016 campaign. It is incredible that he became Secretary of Energy. That guy, though, was the governor of Texas for 15 years.
Yeah.
Oops. Okay, I'm going to go with the Howard Dean scream.
You know something? Not only are we going to New Hampshire, Tom Harkin, we're going to South Carolina and Oklahoma and Arizona and North Dakota and New Mexico. And we're going to California and Texas and New York. And we're going to South Dakota and Oregon and Washington and Michigan. And then we're going to Washington, D.C. to take back the White House.
Howard Dean, that's him after the Iowa caucuses. He took third in Iowa. John Kerry got first. John Edwards took second. This is 2004. I was working for John Edwards at the time. I was in Des Moines. I will never forget watching that clip over and over and over again at our office. The Chappelle Show did an unbelievable parody of it with Dave Chappelle as Howard Dean. It became like mid-2000s pop culture canon. It was the quintessential campaign gaffe in the internet age because it wasn't totally fair to Dean. Who cares if he screamed like either way? But it broke through to the whole country, and it was the only thing people could talk about him going forward.
All right, so for my next draft choice, I'm going to go with Donald Trump's USA Freedom Kids.
So weird.
Enemies of freedom. Face the music. Come on, boys, take them down. President Donald Trump knows how to make America great. Deal from strength or get crushed every time.
That's hard to watch, too.
It's so weird and so uncomfortable. And it's also perfect for a party that claims to be against grooming kids, that they would then trot out these little kids to do a routine gushing over a politician. Like, it's so cultish.
I remember watching it at the time, Brian, and I felt like I was watching North Korean propaganda.
Yeah.
Did you know that those kids, the Freedom Kids, they sued Donald Trump in 2016?
I did, because I went down this rabbit hole, and my first Google search after watching this was Donald Trump's USA Freedom Kids, where are they now? And I was waiting for, like, all of these articles about how they, got out of the cult, basically, like escaping Amish, right? And the first thing I saw was that they had sued him because the campaign promised them that they would be able to do further appearances and to be able to sell
their
merch.
CDs. Yeah, they wanted
merch.
to sell their CDs. They wouldn't let the kids sell the CDs.
Shockingly enough, that's not what happened.
They actually reworked their little number to support Joe Biden in 2020.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, so they did escape Amish.
I don't know that they escaped, but yeah, I don't know. It's real weird, man.
Wow.
All right. I'm going to go with Jeanine Pirro's missing papers.
Jeanine Pirro, the Westchester County DA, that's what she is, announced in May that she was possibly run for the U.S. Senate. Now she's going to do it. During her official announcement today, she stumbled in her speech after losing a page.
The two women, Hillary Clinton. Do you want page 10? Who's got? Yeah, he's there. Like so many New Yorkers, I am tired of the bickering that has tied our nation's political system in knots.
So before she was a wine-drunk Fox News host, Jeanine Pirro was the Westchester County District Attorney that's in New York. In 2006, she decided to jump into the primary to run against Hillary Clinton in the general election. That was her announcement speech. The reason I love this one is it was basically a campaign killer. Everything went downhill from there. One of her problems, by the way, in that campaign was she was seen as too moderate because she supported abortion rights and gay rights.
I also like to try to think about what Jeanine Pirro would say if Jeanine Pirro was reporting on Jeanine Pirro.
Oh, she would crucify her.
Okay, so for my next one, I'm going to go with Marco Rubio's below the belt joke. Let's watch this one.
He's always calling me Little Marco. And I don't think that he's taller than me, he's like 6'2", which is why I don't understand why his hands are the size of someone who's 5'2". Have you seen his hands? They're like this. And you know what they say about men with small hands? You can't trust them. You can't trust them. You can't trust them.
I think right off the bat, for a party that claims to want to protect the masses from undue sexualization, these people cannot stop talking about dicks. They can't stop talking about dicks. It's just like they're relentless.
There were so many kids behind him in that shot too. It's so uncomfortable.
Yeah. And of course, the irony of all of this is, what is the most iconic picture of Marco Rubio right now?
Which one?
The one where he's sitting on that big chair.
Oh, yeah.
And it just completely infantilizes him. He looks like a tiny little boy.
That's my favorite picture of all time. That was my Slack photo for many years.
It's the most famous picture of Marco Rubio because he decided to get on stage and make fun of somebody with small hands.
Oh, it's the best. That's a good one. All right. I'm going to go with Bob Dole's Tumble. Okay, kids, let's get back in the little time machine. That is...
In living color!
that is Bob Dole, a U.S. Senator who was running for president on the Republican ticket in 1996 as the nominee. As you could see, Bob Dole fell off the stage at this campaign rally. Someone just fucked him by putting up these...
That's what I was thinking, is like, how do you put up these railings that are completely unsecured?
Why would you assume this man knows that railing is a piece of styrofoam or something? It's just like tipping around. So he fell on the side of his body that was injured in World War II. So Bob Dole is a war hero. He was badly injured in World War II when he was hit in the back by a German shell. He had tons of surgeries to recover. He had 2 Purple Hearts, the Bronze Star, the V for Valor. And this fucking advanced guy is like, here's a little like Lincoln log railing thing. Good luck with it, sir, and lets him tumble off the stage. The reason this was sort of a painful gaffe for the campaign was he's running against Bill Clinton at the time, who's seen as this like young, youthful, like new generation of leader. Bob Dole's a lot older. Obviously, he fought in World War II. Falling off the stage kind of exacerbates that image, as we're seeing now with Biden's campaign and the Republican attacks on him when he is slipped or tripped or fallen in some way.
Everyone in politics is so old, and it is a matter of time before all of them fall off a stage.
Yeah. Absolutely.
It's just an inevitability. All right, so for my next one, I'm going to choose Tim Scott's mic fail.
America is not a nation.
I think we're good.
Yeah.
The best part of this was while I was researching for this draft, I was watching that video, and all of a sudden I'm watching it, and the sound goes out, and I'm like, to my sound button, I'm just like, I'm like, louder, 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 louder. Like,
I know.
What is going on?
I'm sure there's a bunch of viewers of this video who are like, what happened with that guy? Like,
if you just got caught trying to fix your sound on your computer, then...
You're not alone. You know that made me think of, so there's a group of people on every presidential campaign or every campaign period, and everyone in the White House, they're called the advance team. They scout out locations, they set up the shot, they make it look pretty. If you're riding in a tank, they make sure that you have your helmet. But the first job, if you're an advanced guy, is to make sure the microphone works. And Tim Scott here needs a little, maybe needs to upgrade his advanced team.
Maybe we go to Indeed.com or something like that.
Yeah, just freelancer. Yeah. I'm just throwing it out there.
Yeah.
I'm going to go with John Kerry's spacesuit. This is obviously just a photo. So John Kerry, he visited the Kennedy Space Center in Florida during the 2004 presidential campaign. And everyone who goes on the Space Shuttle Discovery has to wear what's called a bunny suit, which is what that thing is. It keeps you from contaminating the equipment, but you also look like a complete asshole. So these photos emerge that I guess someone at NASA had taken, and it created this huge controversy. Like, people were saying NASA posted these to screw John Kerry because Bush was president at the time, right? And then others were saying, like, oh, it's a Hatch Act violation. You can't post these photos of John Kerry on the NASA website because the government can't be promoting a candidate who's currently running for office. The best, though, that I found when I was researching, Brian, was Rush Limbaugh said it looked like Kerry was in a sperm suit swimming up a uterus. So, look, this is a rough photo. He does not look cool in any way there. I don't think that photo was close to the thing that hurt John Kerry the most in that campaign. It was like the Swift Boat Veterans for Truth, the Iraq War vote, etc. But, it was awkward.
Yeah. Number one rule, don't dress like a sperm.
Don't dress like a sperm. I mean, Rush is not wrong there.
So for my next one, I'm going with Biden's stand-up slip-up.
I remember this well.
I also am told that that Chuck Graham, state senator's here. Chuck, stand up, Chuck. Let him see you. Oh, God love you. What am I talking about? I tell you what, you're making everybody else stand up, though, pal. Thank you very, very much. I tell you what, stand up for Chuck.
It was very awkward. Biden's the VP nominee there. They're in Missouri. And, like, at the beginning of every speech, you know, the candidates call out, like, state and local lawmakers. You give them some love, give them a round of applause. He's telling the state senator, Chuck Graham, to stand up, but Chuck Graham is paraplegic because of an auto accent.
It's like sitcom level bad move for Biden, but to his credit, I mean, he saved himself pretty perfectly after that because he made everybody else in the room get up, and it's really the best save that you could possibly have for such a devastating situation. Like, you could imagine that is a moment where you're just like, I need the earth to open up and swallow me whole right now.
Yeah. So I think, like, Biden recovered there as well as he could. He obviously, like, meant no harm. Right. There's no malice here. And Chuck Graham was interviewed saying, like, it's happened to me, like, every day in politics for years, but super uncomfortable.
Yeah.
What do I got here?
I think you've got
Are we
one
Pokemon
left.
going to the polls?
We're Pokemon going to the polls.
All right, let's throw that clip.
I don't know who created Pokémon-Go, but I'm trying to figure out how we get them to have Pokemon go to the polls.
Wow.
I actually never saw the clip with the extreme close-ups of people watching.
Ben, was that your cut?
It wasn't. That was how I found it.
Oh, my God. Well,
amazing.
That's tough. So that's July 2016. Clinton's doing a campaign event about job creation. Look, clearly someone wrote this line for her.
Yeah. No, you don't think that this was Hillary trying to find Charizard in a park somewhere?
She doesn't know what she's talking about. The people at the event don't know what they're talking about. It was a goofy, dumb line.
That's the best part, is that it's not as if it was bad enough that the candidate has no clue the word she's saying. She's saying it to an audience of people who are her age.
And there's like,
also, like, who is this for?
Yeah, listen, it's not even close to a campaign-ending gaffe. There was so much worse stuff in that race that hurt her more. Okay, so everyone knows that I won, but we're still going to do a quick recap. We each go over our picks and give you the elevator version of the pitch. So, Brian, you're up first.
Okay, here's why my list is the best. First of all, we start with Biden's stand-up slip-up, just pure comedy gold. You can't write it. And it is the origin story, iconic in that sense, of Biden's many gaffes over the years. We have Tim Scott's mic fail. It shows how the most basic of tech issues are just plaguing these Republican campaigns, from Tim Scott to Ron DeSantis. Marco Rubio's dick joke. I'm not saying that Republicans are obsessed with dicks, but I am saying that we get a lot of mentions of dicks by Republicans.
True.
As for the Freedom Kids, Trump's Freedom Kids, I'm not saying that Republicans are obsessed with children, but I am saying that no Democrats have weird cult songs with a bunch of little kids dressed like Wonder Woman. We've got Rick Perry forgetting which agency he would eliminate, which kind of puts on full display both the desperation to destroy government by these Republicans and the simultaneous incompetence of these Republicans to actually do it. And finally, Jeb Bush's Please Clap, which is arguably the most iconic moment in American politics that just signaled the death of a campaign with only 2 words, thereby proving that this list is the stronger list and wins this draft.
Please clap. My list is far superior. Here's why. Michael Dukakis in the tank. It is the platonic ideal of a campaign gaffe. Every person who works in politics knows about this moment, and they know that their job depends on avoiding a repeat. The Howard Dean scream is one of the most iconic kind of campaign-ending moments in politics, at least in recent memory. It's a little unfair to Howard Dean, but I think it captured that feeling that this once energetic campaign had faded into this lonely primal scream, and it was really funny for everybody. The Bob Dole fall. So Bob Dole's staff did him dirty here. It is totally unfair that a war hero who was literally disabled because he was shot by a Nazi is judged based on, like, virility or something, but it did feed into this ageist narrative and hurt him in the 96 campaign. Jeanine Pirro not finding page 10 and her campaign then never got off the ground. It basically killed her hopes of ever being a U.S. senator, and it's really funny because she sucks. John Kerry in the bunny suit, it's just hilarious. The sperm joke, hilarious. R.I.P. Rush Limbaugh, you prick. And then Pokemon Go to the polls. That's some just harmless, good fun.
Well, a valiant effort by Tommy. But I think it's clear that that my list is the far superior list. And I'll just say this. If you need more proof that you should choose me, why don't we just get over to the punishment portion? Because I feel like the punishment, who does a better punishment, may lend itself to I don't know, influencing your vote a little bit. So let's get into the punishment part, shall we?
I have no idea what this is. This is
Tommy.
Scary.
You have any plans this weekend?
Yeah, my wife's parents are here, and then I have to fly to New York on Sunday. I have a lot of plans. What are you gonna do to me?
Yeah, you gonna flaunt a little bit of skin? I think you should, because you will be flaunting that skin with a brand new tattoo.
What is this?
If you look at it,
Mike Pence.
That's right.
You got Mike Pence tattoo?
And not only is it going to be in any arbitrary placement, it's going to be
on my back?
Right there. Lower back, Tommy.
I have to do this on camera?
Yeah. So, Tommy, what do you say we take a little walk over to the Crooked Media Tattoo Parlor?
I don't think I want to.
Let's go. And that, folks, is why you make sure to choose me as the person who doles out punishments. He hasn't even seen it yet. So, Tommy, how do you feel? Like a new man?
Just disgusting. I feel like I've been used and abused by my friends, my colleagues, everyone in between.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm going to be
Well, I'm not saying
humiliated.
I'm not saying you've been objectified, but the argument could be made. So with that said, for those watching, if you've just watched our drafts, you can remember that Tommy's punishment was making me eat pudding. My punishment was branding Tommy with the mark of one of his heroes, Mike Pence. And so keep that in mind, the degree of punishment when you make your selection for this week's.
I will escalate this so fast. It will be like the movie War Games, but not a happy ending. Vote for me, and I will take this motherfucker out. Thank you for subscribing and commenting.
Yeah, like, subscribe, and tell us what you want to see next week. Thanks, everybody.
You're going to regret this.